We can hear.
Okay.
I thought you guys are picking you up. Yeah, but wouldn't you have stopped at one point?
No, that's gonna
I'm
cost
done.
you.
I'm not gonna do. I don't want to create infinite scary loops.
Can you, anybody in the chat can hear us now?
To be fair, terrifying loops though. You'll all float too.
It's called Streamception.
I just want to.
Streamception.
It's the best when you have a video and then you show your streaming service and it just continues down for eternity. I think I fixed it. I just need someone in chat
you
to
up on that one.
confirm.
Gummy bear.
I'll say I could confirm from mine, but
Yeah, I just
I just put it up on mine as well. I have it muted, but
I normally I would too. But I wanted to test this. That's the only reason.
well, I can unmute it, but then it's gonna cycle back.
Right.
So we just need someone from the chat to confirm if you can hear us, please.
Let us know if you can hear us out there. We'll greatly
Say hello, Bong Lord.
Say hello.
Papa, can you hear me?
Do you want to hear us? What songs sound the same? No one ever talks about
Oh, Deadpool 2. I haven't seen it.
I love that movie.
That one's really good.
Man, freaking hearing Take On Me unmiked in a movie was beautiful. It's like, because I was in Deadpool too, like whenever this spoiler stuff. But yeah,
No, I've seen Deadpool too. I just don't remember it.
Alright, well, I think we fixed it. We just don't
spoilers
want
for the
anybody to
scenes, but
confirm.
yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, if you were getting it out of your phone,
I think our audio's okay.
Okay. So,
sorry guys, that was my fault. I did not change a few settings after resetting our streaming service. So Streamlabs OBS reset some things, and we're going through an outboard mixer. So.
It's okay. Thank you for being patient with us, guys. Sorry. Okay.
you good to continue?
We are back on the path of killing a bear.
So, better plan. We have him do it.
That doesn't sound very heroic of you to pass off the death.
I look critically at his big fur-bulk fingers and go, "Are we sure he can be precise enough?"
I'm sorry, are we drawing blood or are we trying to freaking make an art
If we
piece?
use his blood, he has to cast the spell.
Yes. And
He's got I have a feeling he's got about as good a chance as I do.
All right.
I'm sorry, once again, do we even know what this spell is?
Nope.
It's a binding spell.
Alright, chat, I'm really getting a weird like Ocean's 11. So we have to get through the door that we can't get into, past the guards with the guns, and then into the other room we can't get into. And then we're just supposed to walk out of the vault with a couple $1 million like nothing ever happened. Yeah, pretty much.
Between
Alright.
between the two of us, I think we can figure out we can figure out the spell.
So, would it be like an Arcana check to try and teach him the binding spell?
Maybe we can Arcana check to try and learn the binding spell?
That would be more it.
Can you tell us the binding spell or no?
I gave them the ingredients for the binding,
And the general idea.
the general idea of what they had to do. Sorry. But he's never done it before. He's not 100% familiar with it.
Natural 20 with a +5.
For teaching, he's got to learn it.
No.
No,
For learning the
Yeah, for me to learn it.
Arcana. I think
Oh,
is what
yeah.
he was rolling
For you to, we'll say you figured it out as far, because you're a wizard.
Uh-huh.
You've crafted a binding spell. You crafted a binding spell that will work.
Can we add it to my spell book?
Yeah, but it's not going to be something that you would. It's a ritual only. It is a level, standard level 3 spell.
Okay.
Guys, I think we should be careful. I played this game already. Let me tell you, the Binding of Isaac didn't go well.
Oh my gosh.
That's a creepy game.
Oh man, that's
Very
a
creepy
messed
game.
up game. Anyways,
And what we're doing is considered normal?
no.
No, it's not.
Generally, people don't drain themselves 3 liters of blood and try to bring something to.
How is he
how
learning
controlled.
this spell?
How is he? So
Is he writing it down? Is he?
No.
I'm beautiful minding it.
Sorry, guys.
On your right.
Like you got like writing all over the rocks and stuff.
No, I'm using.
I assume it's
my
probably-
floating disc as a clear whiteboard.
That would be actually really funny.
Can I sit behind him?
Yeah, you definitely can.
Copy what he's writing in my book.
That's
You can-
weird.
you can
You're
do
always
so,
suddenly
but
standing directly in front
You
of
need to roll me. Are you trying to do so unnoticed?
No.
You don't care if he notices.
I'm just making sure I get all of it.
If you don't care if he notices, then he has. If he doesn't want to be sharing that with you, he has the opportunity to keep you from seeing it.
Alright, I'll try to do it unnoticed then. That's stealth.
Yep.
How long of a ritual?
It is an hour-long ritual.
And that is 16.
16
16 stealth.
against your perception, which is where are you, Calum?
I mean, he's actively writing and I'm
Yeah, his perception's already way low anyway, so no worries. You are able to sit back and copy down everything he uses on his whiteboard.
Question. Can I try seeing him?
Can you try seeing him?
Yeah.
Of course you can
Yeah.
see him. He's just trying to stay out of his view.
I mean,
There's
it's
nowhere
kinda
to
hard stay
there's
out
nowhere
of
to
the
hide. There's not a lot of like hidey holes here. He's just trying to do
So
the copying unnoticed.
the cat.
So Nero would step in front of King. Like, no question.
Give me an insight check to see if you even know what he's doing.
I don't care. He stabbed me last round. Like, I'm. All I know is he pulls out a book and starts writing what he's writing. Suddenly.
That's funny.
And what? Can I get a spell description?
And the inter-party war has begun.
Yeah.
He already
So
stabbed me.
Or intra-party.
Insulted
The,
my
uh,
kind.
And
we had iron,
You've insulted
dirt.
my
We had
cat
iron,
multiple
dirt,
times.
and blood. Right.
Julia has.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you over.
Sorry, iron, earth, and blood. Right.
So, was I able to copy everything? And would you say I have a copy of the summoning spell?
I would say that you got the majority of it until Nero steps in front of you and confronts you.
Well, see, but if I'm specifically watching him because he stabbed me recently. And if I see him pull out a book and start writing behind him,
I
would
know.
immediately intercede.
He's got a really good mind for copying, though. If he sees it, he can do pretty well.
But wouldn't you be writing it down as I'm writing it down?
Yes.
And I'm figuring this out from scratch, so isn't it going to take me a while?
Yes, which means he could just sit there and wait until you've got something, and then he's like, okay, it looks like he's got
I
it.
think the point that he's doing is if depending on how long that takes, depending when I intercede, he won't have the completed spell.
Right, but he may not be writing until the moment that he sees something actually worth writing. If he's just sitting there observing him and being like, what is he doing? And then he sees him figuring something out, and that's when he pulls the book out. That's about when you would try to intercede, yeah?
I mean, I can roll a sleight of hand check.
Otherwise, him just sitting there, it doesn't mean anything to you other than he's just sitting there.
Just like the rest of us.
Because, I mean, I can.
Because most of you are probably sitting there watching Caleb working on a freaking formula because it all hinges on him doing it. And then bleeding a bear. And then teaching that ritual to the bear.
So wait, does the blood from your bear form count as your blood?
That's a good question.
So I got majority of the summoning spell, you would say.
I'll say you got the majority of it until everything kind of happens. You are now standing in front to confront him. What are you doing?
I'm blocking his view.
That's it?
That's specifically it.
Oh, you're just standing and you're just putting your butt in his face and
Just
keeping at his. Okay.
No, I'm not
You're
backing
facing
him,
it. You're facing him.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't turn my back to him ever
Just-
again.
A little passive aggressive there, aren't we?
He stabbed me. The only reason I haven't shot him is because Sheila's.
That is two games in a row that you've been stabbed by a friend.
In the back.
I
deserve
deserve
this
this
one.
The back is the best place
What was
to
it
stab
that he did?
He said, "Why don't you just fly
Right
up
over
there?"
there.
Oh yeah. That's
Yeah,
true.
Deserve that
It
one.
was
You-
some minor racism. It
You
was
heavily
okay.
insulted him.
So, iron, earth, and blood.
Right. You then need to take some of the blood and write the inscriptions onto or into the earth or onto the iron. After that, you need to mix them together in a bowl and light on fire along with your enchantment. But the fire is at the very, very end. The fire is at the very end. It's the very last thing you do, and that will summon him out. So the last thing you do is light on fire. You do need to put the gem into the bowl. Or no, sorry. The gem is its own thing. Sorry. You need to put the vessel, because you have to have the vessel. Sorry, because I wasn't separating the gem and the vessel. If you want to make the gem the vessel, I guess you could, but that would possibly
Iron,
be bad.
earth, blood.
Um,
I'm copying the same thing.
yeah. Iron, earth, blood. You need to write the inscriptions into the things. Then you need to add them together.
And it only works on the Jinn and Ifrit and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, this is specifically for the Jinn and the Ifrit. It's connected to them as the elementals that they are.
Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of really horrible trial and error that went into trying to figure this out.
Yeah, imagine how
no
many.
one remembers them. They got probably obliterated from existence.
Then you need to put the vessel in, and then light a flame. Okay.
Where are we gonna hold the gin in?
So once you've done that, that begins the binding spell. To finish it, that the person who let the blood, who's casting the spell, needs to reach in and take the vessel and hold on to it, like take it out of the fire and hold it and contain the spirit within.
Raise your hand to rock.
So you're gonna pay a decent price for this thing.
Yeah.
We should bind it to a box. Just 'cause that would be
We
fun.
call it a
So do we
dybbuk.
have-
Sorry.
You either get kind of a Jack in the Box thing, or you get like the Box Ghost from Danny Phantom, or
Well, in Polish tradition, or is it Hebrew tradition? Well, whatever, something like that, where there's the dybbuk, and it's an evil spirit that's inside of it. Yeah, it's the Hebrew, right? Yeah, they have the dybbuk in a box. It's this evil spirit in a box.
Movies are based off of that.
Yeah.
I can't remember the most famous one, but yeah, there's been a lot of
Supernatural. Give us.
Anyways, so
Anyone have something they wouldn't mind giving up me a vessel for this thing?
I have a dagger.
I grab the daggers.
anyone at all.
You now have 2 of Key's daggers.
I don't know about the first one.
Nope.
you asking me like, did you stab him with this one? Because that'll be really good. No.
A little extra.
I
blood in that blood
actually
magic.
I pull out a lamp and it's like something a little more traditional.
Let's do it. All right.
So is this like lamp?
I don't know. It just says lamp.
That's a lantern.
It's in my
Oh yeah,
scribe's kit.
but oil lamps are like that too.
Yeah, if it's in the stripes kit, it'd be more like an oil lamp.
That's
You
true.
know, technically, oil lamps could be
Well, there's
Yeah,
a
those are
lantern,
oil lamps.
and then there's a lamp.
yeah. So it could just be a little
Because you think a
I
scribe
just-
is just a small source of light to write by.
I just
Yeah.
don't want to make a genie infused dagger.
Yeah, that'd probably be a bad idea.
Yeah.
an
Plus-
Ifriti dagger.
Well,
Burns with the
Close eye.
so I
Close my
found
book.
the Fey oaths, and one of them is I cannot make a weapon to kill another person.
Yeah.
And so it's like, probably not a violation, but close enough I don't want to risk it.
Take the dagger. Oh well. Close my book. Tuck it away.
You found my stuff that I sent.
I did, yes.
Okay, good.
Okay.
So if you used a rock, could that maybe violate if someone put it in like a slingshot or something?
All right,
If-
teach the bear.
If I make
Yeah.
the rock.
Yeah.
Can we
So I'm
teach
gonna
it
try.
to walk,
probably
or
not.
are we...
Let's
You kinda hot
head
here.
towards the waterfall
You
area.
guys. Cross that.
Let's head towards the waterfall area because we're planning on doing stuff there anyway. And that will be the best place to kind of do the bloodletting and prep and all that kind of stuff.
And also being by water in case anything goes wrong.
Yeah, and I will do my best to teach you on the way. And if you haven't gotten it by then, we'll take some time and
I'm gonna
really
stick close.
tutor you on it.
Does,
Okay.
does anybody know Magic Circle or some form of barrier spell?
Not at this level.
Protection
yet.
from good and evil.
No, we're still level 4, so.
I mean, technically, the binding spells above my spell slots.
If you had a Death Watch. If you had a Death Watch Knight hanging around.
I don't think those exist yet.
No, not at this time period. No.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm going to stick close to them as they talk
Okay.
and learn.
Okay, you're listening in.
I will let you know. I write all my annotations and spells in Elven.
Okay. I still
I know
can
Elven.
copy it down perfectly.
I will probably be tutoring him in Elven.
Yeah.
You do know something.
I can listen, repeat, translate, learn. I got
It's fine.
resources.
It's fine. So you're teaching the Furbolg. You're teaching Bjorn how to do all of this stuff. And you guys make your way up to the waterfall. When you guys get back up into that room, you do hear something a distance off that's down below, it seems. Just kind of this. And just all of a sudden, this crunch just.
I swear to I'm not gonna say, sorry, I was about to say some very specific words. I managed to just barely stop myself.
It's not Shellington. If you guys,
No, it is having turtle soup.
you do hear the cracking and crunching. It sounds like there were possibly two very large creatures that were fighting amongst each other, and one probably just one, as you now only hear the sound of one creature.
We should avoid that.
Or it's weakened now and it'll be the perfect time to take it out.
We don't even know what it is.
Not our fight.
That's what I think. We find the dwarves with the horse.
No, they
They
left.
went back. Thought they were gonna wait.
No.
No.
Whatever the case, let's not worry about it right now. I think
They're at the
we
city.
should.
Yeah, they took the horse with them to the city and would hold the horse there.
I think we should be fine if we just keep a watch out.
So
Right.
We should probably try to be sneaky too.
So did he successfully
Good luck with it.
learn the binding?
need to make me an Arcana check.
Yep.
Why were they gonna eat a horse? if they
Does he
thought
get
they
a
were gonna go
Does he get assistance from?
He has a basic understanding of what you've taught him.
I basically know, okay, the only thing I really need to do for this is I need to go and pick up the lamb once it's finished. After we bloodlet myself.
Actually,
Everything else seems to be that it can be done with assistance, that other people can do this for me. But the only thing that requires me to do, since it's my blood, is to pick up that lamb.
based on the wording of the spell, it just has to be the blood of the person who picks up the lamp, not the person that actually does all the prep.
You have a deep understanding of this. You know he has to do the spell from start to finish.
Okay.
What did
That is where
I
the
listen to?
disconnect happens. So
Alright.
you're like, no, you
Nothing,
need to
you
do it
know
all.
yourself now.
So,
Watch.
Huh?
What did I learn as I listened in and then spoke to her later and had her translate?
What I've taught.
Why do
You,
you make an Arcana check?
you learned. You wrote the stuff down.
Did I do nothing again?
No, so he didn't. You did not get the ending of the spell.
Okay, so I don't know. I need to pick it up.
Right. You don't know that it needs to be lit afire, and you do not know that you need to take the stuff at the end. You do have the basic markings that need to be written onto the iron and into the earth, and that they need to be mixed. But that's as far as it goes. So yes, you did do plenty enough to stop him from understanding the fullness of this.
I'd like to point out two things. One, yes, I'm still pissed at you. Number two, all of us know that you went to a freaking library and apparently learned a bunch of eldritch crap, which Credence was super pissed about. And the fact that we're doing a blood ritual to bind things. Well, I'm not smart. You shouldn't have that.
Let me bind an eldritch creature to myself. That's smart.
well, it only works on Djinn.
Yeah, this is only for the Ifriti.
I don't care. I didn't know that.
So I'm gonna try.
I got yours the only one that cares.
And well, I don't
You
know.
stabbed me.
I'm going to try and tutor our bear friend here to help him understand it a bit better.
I think that's what the roll was for.
Okay, but I want to sit down and try again.
While we bleed him dry?
It's that scene in the Guardians of the Galaxy.
I mean, you can't go anywhere.
This
I
one,
mean, yeah, go
then that
there.
one, then that. This, no.
Exactly.
We go. You already know. I generally go with the one and done for the situation. So he understands the basics. We'll see how that gets
You
him
might
because
have
he
to
will make
hold
he
his
will
hand
make a
as
rule for he will make a role for the actual doing of.
How long did that take?
How long does it take? It takes an hour to do the casting.
How long does it
But
take
they need to bleed.
three
They need to
meters?
bleed. They need to bleed him first. Well, it doesn't take that
depends on
long
how-
if he slices his throat wide open.
It depends on the
So you
safety
can't
level.
just slice
of
his
the-
throat open. 'Cause
Yeah, you
that's- well,
can't-
that's the
Yeah,
fastest
you need
way
to you need
do
to
it.
catch the blood.
Catch the blood.
Yeah.
So
You can't just cut him
Like,
open.
And
then
this
have
stuff
it
all
go
needs to
like
be
this
mixed
to
together
try and
in
what
some
could
sort of a
possibly
like
be
in an
absolutely
actual
irreplaceable
vessel,
thing
right? Together.
that
It's
will
like you need a
forever be
bowl big
lost.
enough to hold basically a gallon of blood.
That's gross.
Yeah.
how big is my brazier actually?
Your brazier. You just took a small one, right? Travel
Yeah.
size. It's only like this big,
Okay.
Not big enough.
so you maybe can hold a pint, plus the earth and iron.
Drain a pint at a time. I guess we could do that. It just would take forever.
But he has to have the full three. He has to have the full 3 liters in the ceremony.
I know.
How many people
We
have
do-
mess kits?
A pint and then dump it into something. And
Right,
I
but
know.
you need something to dump into. That's the
know.
problem.
Can I try tuning to things in the meantime?
Try it tuning.
Mhm.
You can take some time. You guys have had a couple of days to work on stuff to tune. You can give that time to your attunement time.
How much would you say?
16 hours.
I have an idea.
It was a long walk.
I don't have.
Well, no,
much,
like the few days you stayed there in
but I
that place
have-
before
I have
going
some
out,
ceiling
you had
wax.
time.
What we
Okay.
could do is we could basically dig out a hollow on the ground and then seal it with wax.
That's what I was thinking. A very something very different route.
It's very smart.
Is anyone able to mold earth?
I think your cleric can.
I pick up some clay. Just
Do you not have the molder? Sorry, that was you.
I just pick up some clay. Just
No,
Yeah, I didn't know
that's,
this one was.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
that's Storm.
Oh yeah, it's Storm who's got the molder.
Okay.
I tried using it once as DeVito. It was
Yeah,
supposed to
DeVito
be
had
works,
molder.
I
It didn't work very well.
Okay, so
Of course you do.
I guess your wax ideas are best bet.
Okay. So yeah. So I
If you
start.
give me a bit, I can re-prepare my druid spells.
Well,
and
Then we have a long rest.
It's a short
yeah,
rest to
but
re-prepare,
we're
right?
probably going to bleed you and then do the
And then
thing
rest.
next
yeah,
day.
but mold earth is a cantrip, so I can get everything, like all the runes and everything, just like as.
Well, and the other thing is like to dig into solid rock, you're probably going to need mold earth to do it very
Yeah.
well.
Exactly.
This isn't dirt.
And do we have enough space for the Ifriti up where we are?
No, do we know what the size of an Ifrit is?
Do I know how big an Ifriti is?
He has a general idea of how big an Ifriti is, and no, you're not in a great room for that.
Yeah, we shouldn't set up here. We should
Okay.
set up someplace with more room.
If he listened in to the whole spell, could me and him sit somewhere and I would translate the spell?
Yeah,
Because
they
he
already
listened
did
to
that.
them.
He already went over that.
well, no.
Like when the spell was being cast.
But he
No,
listened
because
to.
I was
he was
listening.
listening
I was
to
overhearing him teach.
Yeah,
Oh,
teach.
that's true.
And he can mimic
Wait,
it to me,
You
and
already-
I know Elvish.
Yeah, but you already asked about that because you specifically said,
I,
"What do
yeah, but I
I
don't
roll?"
think Matt fully understood what I was trying to get across.
You mean listening into while he's teaching?
Yeah.
Because I did the book, but now it's like as we're walking, I'm going to be listening to him teach to see if I can.
You would probably have to sit down and teach him not while you're walking. He's probably sitting down at one point and sitting and showing, this is the way you draw the rune. This is how you do this. And
Just
so
wanted
he
to
may
see
not
if
he may not say word for word
I just want to get the end.
how you do all those things. You'll get the end of it for sure.
And it's like, but then yeah, because he's teaching Elvish, but I can still just mimic that straight to her,
Mm-hmm.
have her translate and tell me.
That's true. So yeah, I mean, you can
Theoretically, would
you
you
basically
consider
remember
person?
everything you hear, right?
Almost.
No, it's just him copying what was
I
said.
can mimic perfectly what I've heard.
Right.
Doesn't mean I can remember it like further down.
Right. So you can mimic it upon being heard.
Yeah.
That
So
would
if
be-
I follow right behind, if I'm sitting close or following behind as they're talking.
I'm mimicking.
That's not distracting at all. No wonder he didn't.
No wonder. Yeah, he's like the birds back there.
I just noticed that and told him to knock it off.
Kale's like, shut
I
up!
don't have to speak. I don't have to. I can listen to you, and then just like that. When we're done walking for the day, when you're done, I can just walk to the back, tell her, have her translate to me.
Right, but it's if it's mimicking upon hearing rather than like you have a long time to hold on to those things. It kind of depends on how long you have memory of what you've
Those
heard.
are just basic memories. How long can I remember what I've heard?
Right. That's a lot of words.
Mhm.
That's all I'm saying. In a foreign tongue that you don't know.
You mimic sounds you've heard, including voices, creatures, you hear sounds. Yeah, it just says you can mimic sounds you've heard, including voices.
Yeah.
It'd be really funny.
This
if
is a
he
game
got-
of telephone.
It'd be really funny if you mix some of the words up and so he got
Well, the
spelled
thing is-
it
So
out.
I'm going to have you give me a performance roll.
I'm good at my performances. Plus
You
one.
should be.
I don't use performance. I use deception.
I know.
Welcome to being human. Well, kind of.
Welcome to being.
Welcome to being Bird.
I use deception because they have to beat a insight check against my deception to see if I am truly mimicking,
Right.
if I'm real or not.
Right.
Natural 20.
Wow! You kicked some trash, my friend. You were able to copy pretty well what you heard. Enough that you have pretty strong knowledge of how this is going to go down.
Alright.
You also caused your friend to not learn well enough what he needs to do.
You're welcome.
So you run the risk of like killing your whole party from having done this. You
So
don't know.
nothing's
You
changed.
do not know that though.
Oh, okay.
But now we both know the spell.
But you have more than set off Caleb a couple times.
So good luck getting 3 liters of blood out of
Please
his
stop
body.
that! It's like hurting cats.
All right,
It's
so
gonna take a lot longer for me to get that
guys,
blood.
we're gonna do this. Do you have a vessel big enough to hold the 3 liters of blood?
We've got water.
Oh no,
spoons.
yeah, you're gonna mold earth,
Yeah.
wax the rock so it's like nice and
Yeah.
solid.
We should do that where we're actually going to be summoning the
Yes, I agree. We should find a
So
spot
this
for
thing
that.
is it's big. It's gonna be a cramped place to fight in. So it's not something that you could flank him in. It's big enough that he would stand or float in,
Okay.
and everything like that. But it is not the greatest place because you know that you're basically in a line of death
Yeah.
if you summon him right there.
So, because we.
I mean, unless you like have people on either side of him, kind of
Are
idea.
we in the chamber with the waterfall basin right now? Or
You're in the chamber where the waterfall is up next to you, like falling on one side of the wall.
okay.
Right, it's an open end there. You can just push off and jump out.
Okay.
Right? So there is a quick watery escape if you want, but there's something at the bottom of that waterfall.
Well, there could be. We just heard something.
There
so
was
big.
something. There used to be something at the bottom of that waterfall. If anything else.
Sure, bro.
We'll just figure it out when he gets there. There's a lot of side check going on. We haven't even reached the place yet, technically.
Yeah.
Bring it up.
All right.
No, we're there. You have heard. That's why you heard what you heard.
Yeah. So
you're there.
Not here.
Shellington is down in the water, right? Because you wanted him down
I
in the
told him
water.
to go to this area.
Oh, to stay here.
And I specifically
That's true.
told him there was
Yeah,
something
so if he
down
got up here,
below.
Shellington would be up here.
Um,
And he just kind of looks at you. He's like, when you hear that sound, he's like, I've seen things.
Nero looks over the edge.
If you look over the edge, you do have dark vision.
Mhm.
You can see a really large creature
Mhm.
laying broken and entrails spilt all over the place.
that's a lot of blood.
Probably killed by something of similar size and strength.
No, it's dead.
You've not seen a creature like this before in your life?
I was gonna say, didn't you say that it was still down there eating? So wouldn't the creature that killed it also be there?
Well, it snapped and broke and killed everything, and then just kind of went.
Wasn't even doing it for food. Jeez.
Yeah, it basically just killed something out of dominance or fear or whatever.
Or just
And
for the
it's
fun of it.
not
Self-defense.
where you can see it. But yeah, you can see the remnants of what happened.
Could he have used his inspiration to give himself advantage on that roll?
He could have, but it is now past and gone.
Yeah, because most of us have.
You're just gonna have to sort of look over.
It carries
his shoulder
over.
and
It
make
carries
sure
over for one game.
Okay.
And yeah, Shellington's like, "Don't leave me here again."
I'm gonna be completely honest. You're gonna want to leave.
I'm not going alone.
How to explain this correctly? That one, and that one, and that one, and that basically that group of people have decided that we're gonna summon a giant creature that's probably gonna kill all of us, and instead of fighting it, we're going to try and entrap it.
You watch his head. He just kind of sucks back. He's like, "The hell is wrong with all of you?"
This is the worst job we've ever taken.
Yeah,
Alright,
you're
this
gonna
was
die.
technically forced upon us, but
You're gonna die. You're gonna die anyways.
well, we're all gonna die eventually.
Oh man,
So I would suggest leaving. The only problem is I don't know where I can send you.
is that thing still down there?
No, we just left the body of the thing it killed.
Oh boy. Well, I'm gonna risk my stuff down there. He like edges towards the water.
Not?
Where do you want me to go then, huh?
Well, I mean, if things go wrong, we're probably going to try pushing the Ifrit into that.
You can't push any free, can you?
Don't know until we try.
I think I'm gonna go this way. And you watch him just, he like pulls into the shell as best he can. You just hear this.
And then a cracking noise when it turns out it's only about 3 feet of water.
He's so bad.
Made that reference.
Yep, that's twice. Okay, he splashes down. If you're watching for your friend,
Yeah.
You see him. He comes up to the surface and just kind of looks at you.
How are you getting back up?
He just
You
swims back
understand,
down into
this
the
is
water.
where I live now.
Emphasis on live.
You're going to die, and I'm going to live right
I
here
choose
the
die.
rest of my days.
All right, so
So I guess this is Turtles, can't help but think just cowabunga on this
yeah,
one.
right.
If you choose life, then you'll continue going. You threatening me? Boom, sloth!
Okay. So,
Okay, you guys.
What do you mean, you guys? It's only that group of people.
All right, well, let's start preparing for the spell, I suppose.
Okay, I know it's not 9 o'clock, but this is going to turn into what it's going to turn into, and it's probably going to go for a little while.
it's probably going to end in a TPK.
If you guys want to take a break right now before this all goes down, let's take a short, quick break. Everyone go get ready,
Get ready.
and we'll come back. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to cut off early, but
You're going to die.
it's probably a wise choice for them. So we'll be right back, you guys.
I mean, a Sun Soul Monk might be a good another character.
Welcome back. We took our short break. Mackenzie is still on break. She'll be back in just a minute, I'm guessing. She left her phone, so I don't think she disappeared on us. Anyways, yeah, we are now coming into the crux of tonight's big deal. You guys are going to deal with this thing. So,
If I may, in the name of my favorite movie character of all time, we're dead, we're dead, we're dead.
okay.
Oh, Treasure Planet.
Uh-huh. I like
If
that
we
character.
stay, we're dead.
Someone needs one of those as a familiar.
We're dead.
Floating slime. Anyways.
Please, it's a floating ditto.
Yeah. All right. So, you guys are digging out. You've dug out you've hollowed out this area of. Are you guys gonna actually fight in this room?
I thought. Do we know of a better place?
No.
Unless you guys want to fight down in the pool where Shellington just dropped.
I feel like if Shellington feels unsafe enough, that might be a better way to go.
Except he went there to run away from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
As a bear splashes into the pool, he's like, "I hate you all."
This is gonna sound strange. Could I be the voice of logic for a second? How are we getting back up?
I have ways.
We'll
Do
do it.
it mold the earth and give us handholds.
Okay, how are you
I
getting
can
Sheldon
shoot-
back up?
I have over
I
100 feet.
can. If we're climbing, I can do that.
There's ways down to that pool.
To my understanding, it was a drop and the thing was round.
There's a drop down to the pool, obviously from where you were, but you can walk ways through all sorts of paths in this cave
Yeah,
and
but
eventually find your
we
way
don't
somewhere.
know them.
No, you don't know them.
Don't worry. We can float Shellington back up.
Minecraft logic.
No.
You swim up the waterfall.
Floating disc.
Yeah.
Great, what's the weight requirement?
500.
Abby Sheldon?
Oof, it'd be close.
Really?
He's pretty big,
He is a big turtle.
and that shell's heavy.
It'd be like speed.
That's not a thing.
Yeah, it either meets weight requirement or the disc don't work.
You know, we can test that before he gets to a dangerous height. We'll just see if we can lift him.
We'll just keep him in the pool for a few
Or
weeks,
or
like Winnie the
again,
Pooh, and see if we can pop him
hopefully-
out of the hole eventually.
Hopefully, so I've still got an inspiration from.
Yeah.
I think everybody but
Nero.
Nero.
No, I
Did
have
you
one.
use yours?
I use mine.
Yeah,
So
everybody Nero still has inspiration from last week.
Okay,
My hope is we can avoid a fight altogether.
your hope.
With
That would be ideal.
As we're
Yeah.
trying to enslave this Ifrit. Yeah.
well,
That
we're
is-
trying. We're
that
trying.
is the worst case scenario.
I'm using the enslavement as leverage. It's like, look, you're locked in a rock. I'm willing to give you your freedom in exchange for this,
Question.
or we can bind you.
Yeah, I have a question on that one.
Yeah.
You have to unlock
You're
the
trying to
door.
tell me that we're going to threaten a being that has the magical power to do anything it wants, including snapping its finger and, say, making the blood go away or any of those options.
He's not Thanos.
No, but you said this thing, like, basically when bound can, like, grant wishes and stuff, right?
Yes.
And you said that there's kind of no limit to those wishes?
They do have unlimited magical power, yes.
So you're trying to tell me that
Phenomenal
we're going to
cosmic
threaten a creature that has the ability to do whatever it wants with something that we're going to put directly in front of it that it could snap its fingers and just make that go away.
Alternatively, we can snap our fingers and bind it.
If it doesn't do it first.
This is our homage to Infinity War. Snap the
That's not
fingers.
snack. First they do something, and then we say in response we do something, and ours resolves first.
This is yeah. Okay, guys.
I just use snapping because that's my favorite way of initiating magic. But, like,
yes.
We should have gone for the head.
but exact. So
Again, do you have a better idea? I'm all ears, really.
no, but let me point out the fact that this isn't a good idea or a plausible idea. Sorry, I used a big word.
Okay, but we don't. It's the best idea we've got.
Yeah, I'm very proud of you.
Your intelligence.
Like I
score has
agree
been
with you.
wonders for
It's a risky move, but we don't have any other better plans. Would you agree?
Do we have a time limit on when we
I
have to get
just
this
sit here
slot?
and swing things.
They
I
basically
know-
they
I'm
wanted
enjoying
you to do
the
this
fact
within a
this is
few
terrible
days.
Did
Okay.
they say that?
Yeah.
Well, they have
Regardless of-
credence, so yeah.
No matter, the way I see it, no matter how we do this, we're effed.
Yeah.
So, we have three options. We go down with trickery, we are successful, or we go down fighting.
Mhm.
Any other option?
Or, fourth option, we just walk away and we
I
figure
don't
this
know what
out.
happened.
I'm
It
pretty
was
sure we have a contract. that
the
says no
headrest.
against that.
I had it up like this.
Again, I don't. We
And
don't
it
have a
popped back
contract
down.
that says we have to bring them a heart. That's just the only thing that will get them to let us pass through there.
No, I meant his talking about just leaving credence.
Oh yes. Yes, you guys have contracts. Yes.
I know, I realize that.
Yeah, but if we break the contract, it's not on us. It's actually technically with the guild because we signed the contract
Yep.
with the guild.
Yep.
Therefore, we can break the contract.
Yeah, as I
Unless you
recall,
sign the
the-
contract by your.
I never signed a contract.
was the,
neither did I.
the consequences of breaking
you-
said
Yeah, I'm
contract
just
might have
saying.
been death, right?
I made friends.
Most of us signed the contract with the guild.
Yes.
Or other unpleasantness. I don't remember what happened exactly in the contract as
Bad.
But
So, I'd say it would be a safe enough bet to have the spell ready to go, but it is our absolute last resort. Because binding one of these things would probably be worse than just trying to kill it.
All right. Well, prepare the spell. I will. When you're give me the signal when you're ready, and I'll summon the Ifrit and try to talk it down
You're
before we have
scattered,
to.
maybe. In this world.
Are we going downstairs? Or not downstairs. But
Down to the water.
yeah.
You're gonna trick someone.
down
Why don't you
to
trick
the
the
water
people
to
saying.
I also asked the question.
Sweetheart,
Again,
something that looks like
I don't like saying this because my character doesn't know magic and is not smart enough to say this. Where are we going to put the blood in a small reservoir of water?
Well, there's
Ground
land around the
You
water.
guys, have you seen Snow White?
No.
So she. Oh yeah, you guys haven't. Oh yeah.
It's an amazing play.
But what if we give the other people a heart that's not an Ifriti heart, but we say it's an Ifriti heart?
They probably know the difference.
We made
I
it
mean,
look
they don't
like.
more-
But we could make it look like an Ifriti heart. If we're gonna trick someone, why trick the Ifriti who could
I'm not tricking. it.
completely kill us?
I'm not suggesting we
Why
trick
don't
it.
we trick these guys who we've already fought and we knew we could probably.
I'm suggesting we make a mutually
Take 'em a little
beneficial
bit of it.
arrangement with the Ifrit.
Can we do whatever we're gonna do? This is getting boring.
But we're extorting them.
Agreed.
Yeah, let's do.
Yeah.
Let's move,
Alright.
guys.
Yeah.
I've tried to let the conversation go to where it needed to, but it's gone past.
Yeah.
I would like to
Let's
say
go.
that was in Nero's voice, by the way.
All right. So yes, start preparing for the spell.
Okay.
I mean, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it up here.
Okay.
Okay, you guys dig out the area, wax it. You pour all of the
Can I
collected
make
blood.
One suggestion: half of us on one side and the other half on the other side.
Sure.
Not a bad
it's
idea.
In the middle of us and not on one side of us.
I'm sitting there and helping him make sure all
How
his
many
wounds are
spells
correct.
have I casted to, heal him?
He didn't need to. He's a bear,
Okay.
so like as the bear, like they have the separate hit point pool or whatever.
Now here's a question.
Okay.
Does the blood stay when the bear disappears?
Well, we have already,
Usually, yes.
yeah, we've already kind of established some of those other things that remain.
Okay.
Yeah. So
As long as it's not inside my body anymore.
It remains.
Yeah.
Got it.
it's kind of like spider silk
Do
stuff.
we know if
It
it
doesn't
technically
disappear.
counts as his blood though?
That's
I don't
the
know, we
biggest.
do not.
That's the biggest concern you guys
Yeah.
got.
Can I roll Arcana on that?
Is it Arcana?
I'm assuming wild shape is magical.
It
But
is
it's also
magical.
Nature magic.
In the meantime, I prep weapons.
Okay, you prep
Load-
yourself
what is
for
the
fighting.
name?
Loading crossbow, pull out water gun, and
You can go ahead and roll me an Arcana check.
Oh, you're right.
17.
17. As far as the magic part of it goes, it's the same person one way or the other
Mhm.
because he maintains his mind inside. Your thoughts on the idea of the biological differences between him and a bear?
He's a furball, so there's
Not as many. Not as many. You are a little concerned about this, but you knew it's the only option you had without possibly killing someone.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I feel like it's our best bet.
And as I said, as far as magic goes, you're not so concerned on the magic side. You're more only the like. Technically, it's probably not his blood.
But it is. But it's not.
Right.
But the magic will work.
Maybe.
Theoretically.
Okay.
We hope.
We're working on theoretical arcane practices, which is never a good sign.
Okay.
All right.
Now, who is releasing the Ifriti?
I will be releasing the Ifriti once they give me the signal that they're ready to go on the spell and they can cast it in a moment's notice.
Okay.
I
Can we
will
split
be
the
keeping
party?
my distance and ready
Yep.
to get us back.
You split the
We're
party.
gonna split the party.
Who's gonna be on the backside of the Ifriti?
Me?
1, 2,
Actually,
3.
I mean,
wouldn't it be a good idea to have
4.
the guys
I'm
with
staying
all
in
the
this
magic?
spell practice,
just bind it behind him?
I don't know. Where you are dictated by the spell?
Well, I gotta be next to the guy casting it to make sure.
So
doing
he's
it
probably
right.
going to appear face front.
Mhm.
Whoever releases him, he'll probably face front.
Mhm.
So the releaser and the binder could be on separate sides.
Seal him from
Exactly
behind.
what I'm saying.
Seal
Is
him from behind.
we should have
Never see it coming.
we should have Ferial on the opposite side of us.
Can we also agree that we should probably release this thing closer to the waterfall?
Yes.
Well, we already did the pit.
Yeah, we can move it.
Well, you guys have a waterfall falling next to you guys.
Yeah.
You're within 5 to 10 feet of the thing.
Yeah.
You are
Yeah.
not far away. It is going to come out and be like, water!
If we put it here, the waterfall's here. That means the only other two sides are that way. So we need people here and then possibly people here. So we have it covered.
Sure.
Yeah, if there's a wall here, but there's still a
Why don't we
around,
just summon
that's
it
where we
in
can't.
the waterfall?
This is one of those things where it turns out because of fracking, that water just has a lot of explosive material in it.
Anyway,
Either that or we get a bunch of
no,
steam and
so-
we get wrecked because we can't see anything.
I think we might be
Nice and
overthinking this.
Yeah,
a little
just-
bit.
Just play.
Let's just go.
So I.
Everyone's
so,
worried for their lives. That's why. It's okay.
Yeah.
So yes. So assuming you guys are ready to go, I summon the Ifrit.
Is his spell correct?
Okay.
Dagger's ready.
You spend the hour. Make me an Arcana check.
Can I get that?
Yes, you get bardic
I'm blessing.
inspiration.
And bless. Okay, so
Yeah,
that's a
DM's
die.
inspiration.
D6,
from you,
D4, and a D20.
It's a D6 for me, I believe.
D6 from you, D4 from you, and I'm using my inspiration.
Double D20s. Okay.
17.
Ain't too bad. All right.
17 versus us.
You do your very best with. I almost said rail. Was that bad?
Caleb.
You do your very best,
You mean
Caleb,
he's
watching
making
over your shoulder, just being like,
That was wrong.
okay, and you feel pretty confident. Even Caleb seems pretty confident about what you just did. And then you're sitting there with, like, sparker in hand, ready to light.
Do I notice anything wrong with
Oh
it?
yeah, you've got
The
flame in
lamp is
hand.
just
That makes
sitting
sense.
there.
Do I notice anything wrong with it?
Do you notice anything wrong with it?
Because I know the spell.
You guys are on the same side because you wanted to be behind.
Yeah.
You do not notice anything wrong by what you know.
If I did, I wouldn't say anything, but still.
So you're sitting with flame in hand, ready to light the thing, vessel in the blood.
All right, I summon the Ifriti.
All right. You summon the Ifriti, and as you do so, you watch out of the crystal just like it just continues spewing this black, thin smoke, just keeps pouring out of it, and eventually you watch this form kind of coalesce and just. As that happens, you see the embers and the glow of the flame off of him just like they begin to ignite, and you can see all like down the veins this huge, just muscular figure. But like I said, like the veins and the curves of his muscles, you can see like the glowing ember and everything around him. Just
No, noble Ifrit, I'm here to offer you the thing you want most.
Darmongo, I'm here to
You
offer
could
me.
not offer me anything but what you've given already. Unless you would like to be a meal.
We offer you your freedom.
I am free.
Oh, for how long?
As long as I wish. He begins to open a portal.
Daggers.
I'm looking around just under spell.
I don't have that.
This is not difficult. I don't wish to bind you, but we will.
You think you're... No. He turns around.
We just kind of awkwardly wave.
She's a cat.
Hand is back, ready to ignite the.
You want to see who can draw first?
Daggers.
It's time.
How long have we gone to that Overwatch reference?
Not a single
2.5 hours.
Do
you really want to see who can draw first?
Do you really want to live forever?
Get off my lawn.
I'll look down and hold on here. I have my daggers ready.
I have my sword out.
Why take the chance when we can just let you go?
Then let me go.
Agreed, dude. That was the weirdest wording for that. Sorry, I'll stop making comments.
As he begins reaching back out to the to form the portal.
Nero's gonna stand.
We ask one thing. An Ifrit heart. Nothing more, nothing less.
Then you asked for something that doesn't exist.
You heartless monster!
Very much so.
Well, we're on a snipe hunt. Also, Nero would actually, as dumb as it is, would try to step in front of the portal. I'm about to go to the fire plane.
He just turns and looks at you. He's like,
yes, this is a bad choice, I realize.
especially for you.
Yeah.
After that, we both go our separate ways in peace. Neither side.
You wish to help the salamanders who broke free and turned their hearts against us. Who locked me away. You think I would want to help them?
I think you would not want to be locked in that stone anymore.
I think you would like to not have your bones pulled out of your body.
You're quite right. I would. I'm not interested in the politics of the situation. They demand a price for a passage. This is what they ask for, and this is what I intend to get.
This is your wish, then.
Be very careful about what you say.
My wish is for all of us to get what we want.
Oh my gosh. For all of you to get what you want. Peacefully.
Why did you say the words "I wish"?
Why do you include all of us?
Fine. Dude, guys.
Why?
We're dead.
We're dead.
We roll to avoid death.
No, we just may have finished the game.
Did you just wait?
Because we get all what we want.
Or does it? Because
Peacefully.
she's not here.
Oh, well.
So all the forges are now unlocked. The quest is over. Like,
Well.
Oh,
That's kind of a paradox right there.
Sharia gets to go back.
Is that what we all want?
Nero gets his own island in the bottom.
Yes. We wish to have no conflict with you, and to gain an Afriti heart. Nothing.
Stop saying we wish.
Let me talk, man.
I'm sorry.
Ifriti hearts do not exist. They die and return to flame.
Then what is it that we were told to retreat?
A lie.
Yep, snipe hunt.
Creed's dead.
You tell me what you really wish. I will give it to you to avoid the binding.
No pressure, man.
Start mimicking crickets.
What's wrong, Connor? Is it hard to look at that golden platter that was just placed before you?
Not quite sure I get the reference, but yes.
Holy crap.
To
Gain access.
okay, passage to the fire forge with no more unpleasantness, and
Or death.
Well, that would be
I would consider death unpleasant.
Done.
Depends on who you ask.
You just watch this flame comes up off of his arm and just pulses out so much that it actually like cuts off the waterfall for just a moment. And when that happens, you just watch him he throws himself in to the portal afterwards.
Question mark? Question. I was standing in front of the portal.
No. He basically ghosts himself through, because they have the ability to turn into like mist. Yeah.
You feel very warm.
So when he does that, he just passes around and through you. Just portal stops behind you or closes behind you, and you are left with nothing here but a druid with a flame still in his hand. Like, we don't need to do it, right?
So should I?
You can put the flame out.
No, I didn't.
Now would be a good time to point out that while Fariel is supposed to be good at making deals, I am not.
We'll retcon the script later.
Guys, we didn't die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't die.
So
Now let's go see what that would.
Yeah.
Technically, if
cost.
as a result of that wish, he wiped out the lizard people, I didn't harm them, and we didn't harm them.
I find that interesting because it's that weird, like, Harry Potter, like, what house elves can do, because technically their magic isn't bound by any logic.
Right.
So the Ifrits would want that, but could it only be achieved if somebody else wished for it?
I don't know.
Or do they have something specifically that the salamander people can't be undone that way?
But
It's a weird Thanos question, but yeah, anyway.
But again, even if that were something that happened, the Ifrit's the one who did it, not me. So I'm clear.
Now let's just hope nothing
Did you
bad
not make a
happens.
weapon?
I didn't make a weapon. We did not harm them.
You just inadvertently mass murdered a whole race.
Hey, no, the
Yeah, that's
Ifrit
not-
very
Add it to the
it
list.
would have done it
Inadvertently.
would have done it intentionally. But
So-
that's his decision.
You guys seem that there's nothing going on here for you, so you're just going to return back down to the forge?
I guess so.
I guess so.
Slowly return
Is
blades
someone
to
get
where they
Shellington
go.
down? Or up, technically?
You're going to float Shellington back
I
up?
was gonna ask
Well,
if
I
we
gotta
can.
get down there and then climb my way back up to do that. So
Oh, okay.
I'll go down with you in the handholds.
I'm just gonna jump.
I am gonna take my lamp back though. Though I'm pretty sure the sealing wax is toast because we used it to seal the basin.
Yep.
Oh.
Not a. I
I
still
guess
think
technically it isn't toast. We didn't actually
If
burn it.
you
Thought that
die,
was a
Yeah, you could scrape it back.
Well,
I
even
feel
though it's
like
all
it'll
covered
be all
in
covered
blood.
in dirt and stuff, dirt and blood now. So it's fine.
Not really. Not so. Yeah, that's true.
Effectively ruined.
You
It's
work
gross.
on the handholds. I'm gonna jump down and feather fall
Okay.
and get down there.
Okay. You get down. You're gonna float him back up. Make your way up. I need you to make me an acrobatics check for the climb.
I'm making handholds for him.
I know you are. It's still wet with a waterfall.
What if he does decide that the waterfall's not on?
Then he's not climbing up to you guys.
Well, yes, but my understanding is that it's a wraparound, right? Alright, I have no idea how this is meant then.
Well, no, yeah, he could. No, yeah. That ramp. There's part of a ramp that goes.
Yeah.
You could go. You could go up there. Yeah, that'd be fine.
I got a 12 for my acrobatics.
Okay, that's not so bad when you've got enough handholds that are safely made. It's not like you have to be like a rock climber to really do a very good job. So it's like climbing a ladder. So we're good. You're able to make it back up. You've got the turtle back. He's just like, I was okay down there.
Yes. However,
By the way, that pool's really deep and goes on a long ways.
what pool have we come to that it hasn't been deep for some odd reason?
Well, I mean, the last thing was a really big lake.
I don't know.
Can't
Anyway.
blame that.
Also, since we did stuff downstairs, the heat has actually turned down significantly.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, I guess I can go along with you.
I'm just saying, I'd rather you be with us and not with us.
Yeah, I understand. Just don't get killed. Okay. Right.
Again, like, it might not be my choice at this point.
Yeah. So you guys, you have that conversation. You guys make your way down.
Which reminds me, watch the feathery bit. I mean, yeah, watch him.
You got a problem with the bird?
He might have stabbed me in the back once.
That's
I
okay.
might have also been racist to him beforehand, but
I was gonna say racist or not, I understand.
I got the turtle.
If I had hands, I'd have done it a while ago.
Hey, come on. He just kind of looks like,
I
come
didn't
on.
say you were wrong. I was just saying you should keep an eye on him.
Yeah.
And her, I never really tell.
It doesn't matter.
At that moment, Nero notices he has a
I don't know,
post-it
but
note
you
on his
batter
back
it up
that
and
says,
fry it.
"Stab
It
me."
tastes real good.
You
It's
suck.
just a
All right. So you guys make your way back down, and when you
Don't
do,
mind.
it is cold
Oh no.
and dark. There is not a bit of light.
I kind of go up to Mittens, tap, and hold up my dagger.
Cast light. You got enough light to see what's going on.
'Cause there's a few of us.
The
who can't
gate-
see.
The gate is technically open just a little bit.
Yeah, the way is open. We have no idea.
While you're looking around, you just hear this. Help!
Help!
I go over to where I heard that from.
We both have dark vision.
What in the world? Where'd they go?
Help!
Hey! Key!
Key!
Come here!
Okay.
A while ago. On past episodes.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
I walk over to where I heard the voice.
Oh yeah, I assume us with night or dark vision would also be walking over.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys all make it over. The forge, this thing, like when you actually get inside, you're like, holy crap! The ceiling reaches up like 100 feet up into the air. It has a pillar here and there, but just massive smelting pots, and
I'm staying as far away from that as I can.
you can see you can see like all of the work zones and things. There is one big anvil in the center.
I think we're gonna need a bigger hammer.
And atop the anvil, you see fighting More as you get closer, you see Credence has been tied to it, and like when
We
light
stopped to sacrifice just in time.
when you guys have enough light there, you can see there is blood like down the stuff. You can see that he's been like pretty heavily injured. And they were actually like beginning to cut into his head.
So they learned from you?
These are the snake things?
Uh-huh.
Well, they're all gone now.
Are they gone now?
Yeah.
The entire place is
The
cold and
forge is
dark.
empty.
Everything is gone.
Okay.
So,
What happened?
I'm feeling a little bit lightheaded.
I cast.
You're a little light of head.
Shut up. You what? You cast Cure Wounds. You're able to stop the bleeding. It's gonna definitely leave a scar there, but he's okay.
is he tied down just with ropes or chains?
He's tied down with chains. Ropes he wouldn't have had so much of an
Is
issue
there
with.
locks?
Locks?
Yeah.
They seem to have been
Welded.
If you give me 4 hours, I can get him out. I just gotta change seasons and face step him out.
So how was the other side?
I was very, very happy to see the other side of this door until they put me on the anvil.
They say why?
They wanted to learn all about me and how I do what I do. Apparently that means cutting into my head.
I'm gonna take my crowbar and just try to.
Stop it, bird!
I'm gonna try and hit one of the links with green flame blade.
Okay. Roll it.
Green's like,
Not the one.
Adjacent
not the one
creature, splash damage.
I can choose to do that.
Oh, that's true.
I was gonna say anyone with a +1 weapon, because it's a +1 and it's magical resistance against breaking.
Oh,
so
hey,
depending on the chain is or it's not.
So my great axe is really good at breaking armor.
Yeah, it is.
Would that work against these
You are
chains
more
here?
than welcome to try.
I will try.
Okay.
So, like,
You can roll your great. You can roll.
that is 11 to hit.
That just hits.
Okay,
I hope so. He's trying to hit a chain. It's not like it dodges.
It's not like it dodges. It's just a. It's yeah.
No, sometimes
It's
you
more
gotta do
like
something
it's more like skill to hit it properly rather than
glance off.
yeah.
Yeah, those chains are fidgety.
6 slashing damage.
6 slashing damage. You hit the chain. You find it's very thick. You make a bit of a ding into it.
Okay.
You haven't cut through the chain by any means. Steel or really heavily worked, whatever this is strong.
So, while they're in their process of trying to get Credence free, can we try to figure out what happened? Like,
What happened to
what the people?
the
Like, did they just
salamanders?
disappear or?
Yeah.
Of ashes anywhere.
No.
And it says I'm interrogating Credence while they're
We're all talking to him. I've literally had a dialogue going.
Right.
a little bit. We know what happened to him. I want to know what happened to
Them.
So
them.
talk.
I apologize. I don't exactly know what happened. I was getting cut into.
Oh, we made a deal with an Ifrit. Well, I guess he made a wish with an Ifrit.
And you did.
Yeah.
And from that wish, this happened. I think.
Oh, you killed them all. Good job.
I didn't kill anyone. That's very important.
No, you did.
Yeah.
Agree to disagree.
Getting around your little fairy thingies, but you killed them.
I'm sorry, did your rapier stab people or did you stab people?
See, that's different. I didn't hold this weapon.
Yeah, you did. You held him ransom.
Would you shush? I'm trying to get you out of there.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So hit the chain.
So
Okay, roll your damage.
That is a 11 points of damage.
Okay, you hit in around the same place that he hit, and you're able to just it breaks free, and the chain just like starts like coming undone. He's like, "Ah!
that's easy.
Ah! Ah!"
Keep doing that.
He just pushes himself.
Easy.
Oh.
Give yourself a heart attack.
So
So,
Calm down.
I almost did. Where's my hammer?
Where is his hammer?
He looks around. He's like looking.
I'm looking for the hammer.
Do you know where they put it?
I wish I did.
I'm gonna cast detect magic to see if I can find the hammer back.
Okay.
15 on a perception check.
15 on a perception check. You do not. You do not find it. It's not just sitting around. Detect magic. You do detect magic about the forge itself, right here specifically on the anvil. You do not detect magic anywhere else.
Man, are there houses?
Are there houses?
Yeah, like this was a city.
So they lived in here, but there weren't houses. This was a forge. It wasn't made to be lived in.
But that's the point, though. So did they have structures at all, or was it all just kind of that basic? There were just fire buildings that they lived in.
No, so this is more like the things that are here. This is like an enormous work and research and development space. So the rooms that do exist, if you go and look about, you're gonna find there are like basically labs for creating better burning chemicals and things like that. You're gonna find that there's all sorts of things that the Tejungi would have developed. So you might find things that could go boom, but
Like things that go boom.
you'll probably find like an armory. You'll find a lot of different places where they seem to have done work, like chemical work on metals, or magic work on metals, like and things like that. Or like there's also going to be places that you can see where they have affixed other things, like they've done magical work on items.
Yeah,
but this whole place is a giant forge that's just made for building. It was made for someone to live within. You came and did your work tirelessly and left. It wasn't a place for someone to hole up in. They did because they did it out of survival, and they had something that they could craft whatever the crap they wanted, and they are basically considered like some of the greatest smiths in existence.
I think what you mean
Salamanders.
is they were considered some of the greatest smiths in
Yes.
It's a good thing I saw them before they got disappeared for future transformations. It's a good thing you saw them before they got Ifrited. Yeah.
Okay, so you see Credence reaching out. Where is it? He did nothing. He's not getting a hammer back. He's not getting.
I don't believe it's here.
Oh, I'm going to have some words and worse things with someone who took off with my hammer if they did.
Technically not there. I'm searching the
You're
other
just gonna
rooms.
look over at Farrell.
How far is your reach for your
Don't look at me.
your
I didn't
magic
touch his hand.
magic? It's 60, right?
30.
It's 30.
It's 30.
If you're walking about the entire forge trying to look for this, because it lasts a certain amount of time, right? 10 minutes.
10 minutes, yeah.
If you walk around the major parts of the forge, you get a very, very faint. Because like the one place, this is the one place there is residual heat, right? But it's not burning hot. There's residual heat in this inside the actual forge. It's cold technically because there's no fires, but the smelters are giving off heat, and you get a very, very faint piece of magic in one of the smelters.
Are they melting down his hammer?
It is more than likely gone.
So make an investigation
It's a
check.
good
for
thing
this
that,
stuff I find.
that the room for summoning didn't work, or else you just have a slag of molten metal
Oh my god!
It's good thing those rooms went first.
It sounds like you had a very special relationship with this hammer. That losing it was akin to losing a loved one.
It's like losing a limb. Ah!
I'm just imagining.
Huh?
Can I pull it out of the sculpture with Mage Hand?
No. Mage Hand can only pick up 5 pounds. That hammer's freaking heavy.
Well, you said it was mostly gone.
Oh yeah, you can send the Mage Hand to pick up what's left, and as you do, it basically melts and just like you have like a pile of molten metal in the hand.
Well, maybe it will still be helpful.
It can be reforged.
Gonna bring it back to credence.
If the foundations are strong.
I think
I think I might have found your hammer.
I will destroy them!
I think that's already.
I think that's gonna take.
I think it already happened. Can I roll an investigation for any of the stuff I possibly found?
That hammer was over 3,000 years old. Just kill me.
Dagger.
Are you sure?
I'm not stabbing you, I'm just holding it up. Just
That'd be far too anticlimactic. Come on.
What more will this cost?
Can you reforge it?
Not,
Probably most of our lives.
not even I can reforge that.
Can you forge something new from it?
I can forge something new.
Can it be in the shape of a lance?
You're a selfish boy.
Yeah?
Half of these people are mercenaries. What did you expect?
Yeah, I understand.
I smack Nero and go.
I am investigating other rooms, which is why I'm specifically going like this.
He pulls himself out, slides out from the rest of the chain.
Also, I've been down in like a freaking cave that's been super heated. My skin is not smooth right now.
Yeah, that's probably very true. We need to relight the forges and get this done.
How much fire do you think that'll take?
A lot.
I'll
The
go
other hand.
keep.
Other hand too.
No.
I think we can. I think we can do it.
We'll figure it out.
So is my searching through rooms? Did I find anything?
You found a lot of different things. Like I said, there's an armory, there's all sorts of alchemy labs,
Right.
there's gems and stuff that were fit into different
I'm
things.
taking those.
Alright, what's in the armory?
In the armory, what is in there, most of them are just like, there's a lot of different swords, there's a couple of pikes, there's hammers, there's shields. You actually find 3 suits of armor, but none of them are your size.
I figured, but I was
There's two that are
nonetheless
dwarven
curious
size
about
and one
armor
that's
and
elevated
like
shape.
the possibility of being able to somewhat upgrade what I have. I don't want to do full plate though, that seems a little excessive for my loadout.
The full plate could be really useful for Nero, our
yeah.
protected tank.
And
Or for
the
cleric, for
armor
that
the
matter.
armor suits that you see are all pretty well Taijungi sized. They're very stout, large, squat armors. Hmm?
I said those poor Taijungi.
They got the short side of life.
Yeah. Weaponry, most of it is built pretty hardy and this feels very Taijungi. Everything to it has a very Taijungi feel. But I mean, you're also talking like some of the finest crafters ever, right? So like when you pick these things up, you're like, yeah, that would take heads. That's really nice. It's perfectly balanced. It just looks a bit more practical, even though it's gorgeous. It's just it has that warlike, just straight hard hit feel, rather than some of the beautiful lines that you might get out of other things. What'd you say?
I need some more daggers. Do I find any?
You definitely could find a few
How many
Taijungi daggers.
do you need, man?
All the daggers.
I only use daggers.
So you find 5.
Ooh, yay! That's more than I lost.
I'm gonna find a place to sit and watch everyone do whatever.
You've got a handful of low value diamonds. There were 3 decent sized rubies and a sapphire that was in the gems that you found.
Material components.
Yeah. Or other things. As far as alchemical things, there's all sorts of manner of powders that you don't know what they do. experimenting with them might become really dangerous. So I don't know if you want to try that stuff.
So Credence, what do we need to relight this forge? I got some alchemical stuff. I got
Wait.
mercury.
There's stuff left in there.
Yeah, a lot of stuff actually.
Oh, don't you worry your head. Let me go look.
I come out juggling some daggers.
So I'm gonna keep like
Stealing from the forge. What in the world?
Stealing from the forge. What could you possibly be doing that for? I
You
said,
hired
but-
Rome. What do you think was gonna happen?
Fine.
I just
You're
let
not
my guy.
stolen from you yet.
I'm just gonna wait just inside of earshot.
I sure hope you haven't.
No,
Just gonna walk
Well,
I'm
gonna
gonna
be
be
inspecting
inspecting
the
the
forge
forge to see how to see like what would be the best angle tag.
So, there's some pretty big. There's like, you can see that it looks like there's a pretty, like the way this is set up. When you get close enough, you can finally smell some of the natural gas that is released under these forges. And then after that, you can see there's a really large bellows mechanism that's set up to be actually handled by just a few people, like manually. There's a huge rope and pulley system type thing, chain and pulley system.
Just a forge or is this a gas furnace?
No, it's a forge. But
Sorry,
to
I'm gonna make a different joke.
the smelting pots and stuff though, like that's what those are going to be on. But what you don't know is like how this is all built down. Like there is only one major anvil down here, right? There's other things you could work within, but this is like all focused down to this anvil. There's something about this.
So, are there any smith tools I could go and acquire to upgrade my current?
There are definitely smith tools that are around here, and they are of the finest quality.
I might grab a few of those or exchange them anyway.
Okay,
Because I want to upgrade that set.
that's fine. So he Credence goes up to you and he's like, "Did you find any black sandy kind of powder?"
Did I?
Make me an investigation check real quick.
Sure. Gummy dice. All right.
Wanna play
Investigation.
chess?
What?
Wanna play chess?
Investigation.
With me, like Shalir wants to know whether you want to play chess.
You guys,
I'm afraid I wouldn't be much of a challenge right now.
15.
15.
That's totally fine.
Yes, but there's not much. There's like a large jar, but it's
I would
mostly
prefer
empty.
to see what
There's
happens.
that jar, and that's about it.
Oh, that won't be enough. Maybe there's some somewhere else, but we can try. You guys, what is everyone else doing while they're here?
I am literally just watching everybody staying like as far away from the forge as I can be while still hearing what people are saying.
Okay.
I don't do manual labor like this, therefore I am doing nothing.
Okay.
I'm not doing manual
After I
labor.
grab my daggers, I'm with her.
I'll volunteer to help man the bellows.
Perfect.
I too will join
Okay,
Credence,
the bellows.
although I am also mentally formulating how to try to upgrade armor because I do have a Yagamoth skill shirt that I can go and remake into whatever I want.
I'm with Credence apparently.
And so I'm now thinking about how to try to make half plate or at least make like shin guards and maybe a gauntlet or two or something.
Okay.
No.
So Credence, sitting with that jar of the little bit of black powder that's there that he has, he goes and sits down, and he sits and ponders, looking around the whole place.
I need as many flammables as possible.
You can burn this book.
I give you 2 flasks. of
They said that there was only one way to actually get access to the real forge.
Blood sacrifice.
No.
You mean not this forge? There's another one?
No, this is the forge, but the real forge must be lit in one way. Otherwise, all you're doing is using a forge like any other place in the world, just a lot bigger.
Okay.
The only way to activate the forge correctly, it has to be done together, by what I can see. But I'm not sure exactly how to go about it.
How does a normal forge work? And I think we can work away from there.
Wait,
Do I know?
Do you know how a forge that makes weapons works?
No. Well, just because I don't make weapons doesn't mean I couldn't know. I've been around 500 years. I don't know if that's in the time that someone else might have used this, but
I know it all, considering childhood friend was a blacksmith.
yeah. So people know how a forge works. You heat up the sucker, you keep high heat on it, and then you're able to put whatever into it, melt things down, purify, take out impurities and all that, and then you use the anvil to work the metal afterwards. What you guys see is a line of 3 enormous smelting pots on either side, and at the center you see an anvil. So far, you guys haven't actually seen a forge.
Oh. Thought I was investigating the forge.
Well, this entire room is considered the forge, right? Like, they call it the forge, but the actual hole, the place that you would put the metal, you have not seen the forge.
So the room kind of slants down like this, just until you get to the anvil in the center, right?
So yeah, you got basically this large open room. It does kind of, there are some slight curb up with, you got stairs that'll lead up into the other rooms and things. But in the main hall of this thing, you've got huge smelting pots and an anvil at the far side in the center of it. You assume, knowing the way forges and anvils, you normally aren't too far apart from each other. It's got to be somewhere over here.
What are the bellows attached to?
The bellows, they're on the other end. Okay. And the way that they seem to be built, they're not attached into the smelting pots or anything. You can see underneath the smelting pots looks like a place to ignite flame, like to ignite a fire underneath. Because like I said, you can kind of smell the natural gas. And the sucker lights, it could light pretty hard. It could be dangerous. What?
I was gonna say, if it's a natural gas, then isn't it odorless?
Well, yeah, like
They threw a couple of rotten eggs down there.
so. I was gonna say there's a few different types of natural gases, right? You can get just a little bit of a smell off of a lot of gas, like that gas that you get off. Like it may not be sulfur, but you can get that smell of gas. Like if you think of like a gas stove, you kind of get that little smell to it. It's more like that. So it's not pure odorless natural gas.
Okay. And the thing on that one is because most of the gas that you can smell is because that is what people put in the gas
to make a smell. Yeah. But I mean, there's other things, like if it's coming up out of the earth, there are other elements that it could take with it. That's mostly what I'm trying to say. I know. Most of the time it's just odorless. You don't really catch it. We're going to say that there's something there.
This is specifically routed to a forge. It could be manipulated so it's not just straight natural gas, too.
Anyway, so that's fine. So you've got the situation.
I'm gonna
the way the belt. Sorry.
Fernando,
Mm-hmm.
kind of tug on your coattails. I'm gonna point to the top of the anvil, and I take out my book and just like mimic drawing.
Mimic drawing of.
And I point to the surrounding area.
Go to the
And then to your
anvil and draw
maps.
a map.
Is this like a normal sized anvil or a giant anvil?
The anvil's pretty large.
Well, I mean, it has credence on it.
Yeah.
But he's short.
He's short of stature, but big in personality.
He's just shy of 5 feet tall.
Oh.
He's a rather tall Taejungi.
He's a bit taller than Key then.
Yeah.
He's like 4.5 feet.
Yeah.
Then I look at you. He's like, ¿Qué quieres, cuervo?
Taejungi top out at like just under 5 feet. They're like 4'10".
So if you're playing paper,
Down to about like
thingy,
3'11"ish.
Get on the anvil.
So, well, 3'8". So they can be really relatively short, but he's on the bigger side. He's a big boy.
I start mapping, by the way.
Okay.
For the botherings or
As far as height, it's not super tall,
Okay.
right? Taejungi ran on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as size, they've got a large workplace, basically. This thing, like, as an anvil does, like, it has, like, the cone, right? Because that's made for a specific type of work. It does taper down quite small, so you could work anything from a small thing to a huge thing. Like, this is made to be Masterworks anvil that you can do anything on. Crazy, huge stuff. They're also really big and strong and could handle massive hammers to make bigger weapons for bigger creatures. Sorry, guys.
Very good.
So, as you're looking around, like I said, there's places that you can ignite underneath. The bellows seem to pump into maybe a central air system that possibly helps to stoke the fires underneath there, or stoke the forge, or something, because they're not pointed anywhere. They're like they seem to be built under, but you have like, you can see some of where the bellows works, but it's all built out of a chain pulley type system to run them.
I make a map of like the room.
Okay, you
specifically
draw up
based
the
on-
room. What?
Do you have a light source?
We have key.
I have my dagger, and I can also light up my lantern.
Right, but for like the purposes of mapping. Yeah, never mind. Go ahead.
It's true. It's true. He wouldn't be able to see. He's a human. You draw what you can see. You know what's there, so you can at least imagine what's there. Like, you can make that part. You may not be up to great detail.
I'm just hoping it kind of gives us a better vision of what we are looking for.
As you guys kind of like explore the place, you've noticed that there's a lot of work on the walls. It looks like it's got a quite detailed historical kind of setting. Like, this was made before the Taijungi, right? This is ancient stuff before the twisting, right? Taijungi ran this thing long after the twisting, but this was made prior to that, and that's what you see. You see a lot of different carvings, and the one big carving that's at the back near the anvil, like that end of the room, is a large dragon spiked along its back. Looks pretty fierce, and just has its mouth just set. Looks like it's set to attack kind of look, but it, at least to you guys, I mean, it's centered and set up. Give me an insight, real quick. Pick two people.
Julie, I guess, is one.
19.
Yep. 19. Who rolled the other one?
I don't think anyone has.
Well, that's fine. Shalia at least looks and puts this together and feels like the face of this dragon is so centered. It's not just artistic. You kind of look at it and you're like, there's probably something to this, because we haven't actually seen a forge. If you want to, if anybody wants a history roll, they might see about the dragon itself.
I'll
do history.
I've got a +4 on history.
I've got a +5.
It's nice and warm down here tonight, isn't it?
It is.
25.
25.
I'm at 14.
Trip with a nat 20.
Okay. You have a very strong feeling. You're like, oh, I recognize this dragon. This is an old ancient red dragon that was actually on the side of good.
Okay.
He was one of the 10 dragon lords. He's basically like keeper of the flame.
Credence, why did the Taijungi abandon this forge the first time?
Well, as things got worse with all the wars, they decided to hide it away, so that there would be no chance of this becoming another thing to fight over.
How big is the dragon's mouth?
It opens about 10 feet tall.
Big enough to gulp you down.
No.
at the dragon's mouth and see if I can recognize any mechanisms.
Okay.
I'm basically looking for traps to see if something there's like.
Dragon's Mouth is pretty high up because again, this thing ranges all the way up to 100 feet in the air. But you guys can kind of catch just from the detail work of throwing. You know, you're throwing that light out as best you can try and see those who have dark vision. Huh?
All right, so
I didn't actually catch that.
can I go around check for? So there's a bunch of artwork around the place.
Mhm.
I want to note where those locations might be on the map. If there's stuff.
Within the main hall
Okay.
is where you see most of the artwork carved along into the walls. You can see some of it actually got defaced.
Okay.
More than likely, that's probably from some of the salamanders.
Okay.
But
taking little sketches of some of the
okay,
basically excerpts of some of the
okay,
the carvings.
All right.
I have an idea.
You're looking for mechanisms. Give me an
I'm just seeing
investigation.
if there's like any holes that something might come out of, or anything that's like
Mhm.
different. I rolled a 13 investigation.
13 on investigation. You get really you're right up into it, and you're just kind of feeling along. For just a second, one of your feathers catches, and you're like, ah! It kind of hurts. Pulls out almost, and you found a very tight line in the stonework that seems like it might have something to do with this, and you're like, okay, there's a pretty it's a seam of some sort, and it seems to go up.
Trace it up and it's just look around. Who's next to me?
Probably me.
We don't have no general idea where
I'm
everyone
still at
is.
the dragon.
Last I was.
Yeah, so that's where he is too.
So these two, I like, and I show them the line that I found.
Okay. By what you can tell, the line seems to go up towards the dragon's mouth. It very well might have something to do with all of this, that it may open, close, raise, lower, something.
Yes.
It might just be lines for gas to come right out of the mouth and blow someone's brains out of fire, but
I have an idea.
you have an idea.
This is Tay, not Caleb.
Oh, sorry.
But I'm terrified because what happened
The last time you dealt with a dragon mouth? Yeah.
He's the keeper of flame.
Yeah, I know.
It's generally not a smart idea to have anything to do with the mouth of a dragon. Just saying.
So the idea that just keeps coming into my head is give him his fire.
Not a bad idea.
So I think I'm gonna try
Away
it.
from the dragon first.
Everyone away from the dragon. I'm going to try something.
I'm gonna back away.
Out of the room.
They said that you had to work together entirely to make everything work at once and ignite. But I don't know exactly where to start. It looks like Caleb's got something going up his sleeve, though.
We'll see if this does anything.
I'll stand by the bellows.
Okay.
Once you throw fire in there, I'll start blowing the bellows.
I'm gonna cast Flaming Sphere into the dragon's mouth.
Okay.
So it's a giant 5-foot sphere of fire.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna see what happens.
Okay.
Hopefully I don't lose all my crap.
This isn't Chunja, dude. This doesn't
I
have.
do
He
have
doesn't
one
have
question.
balefire.
What is the range of that spell?
It is 60 feet.
You said it's 100 feet up, right?
Well, the ceiling to the very top is 100 feet up.
I thought you
He's
said the
just.
statue was 100 feet up.
Well, so like from floor to ceiling, it's 100 feet. The mouth is a little bit lower.
Okay.
It's not right at the very top of the thing. So you're right around that range. You're good. So, everyone ready for this?
No.
I'm out of the room.
I'm out of the room.
This is how the
Hey, I gotta
TV
be able to
game
save
happens.
people.
I am at a safe distance.
All right.
I believe I am too.
So you watch Caleb.
I'm a tree.
He casts, and you watch the flame forms and builds around, and then just casts off of his hand up into the mouth of the dragon. Just, and for just a moment, this image of an ancient elder dragon with a ball of fire in its mouth is there for everyone to see as it lights all the room, and we have a
And
bird,
I am starting the
a bird,
bellows.
a bird, roar, a
Wait
bird
a
roar.
few seconds for effects.
I'm like right behind him. Like,
So, just wait long enough for everyone to ask the question. Did it work?
Yes.
No, so I was saying.
Oh yeah.
Conversations.
As you watch that, it kind of it twists kind of into a vortex, and just dissipates inside. But it seems almost like it was absorbed, right? You see, like, all of a sudden you watch all at the same time, just the 6 spouts of fire under each of the smelting pots
Light.
begin. Yeah, they all flame up. You're using the bellows.
Flame
Flame on. Yeah, you begin working the bellows, and you just see them they just grow hotter and hotter as you watch the eyes of the dragon statue begin to glow, and you see flame begin to like just begin to kind of spout out of this mouth. As that happens, you watch like it just continues to kind of form, and it almost makes like a trough, and it just begins to lower down. The head, then you guys watch this thing all the way down. It's not too far off from the anvil now at this point, and you can see it is a flaming forge of the mouth of a dragon.
Something tells me we might have lit this backwards.
So you've got this going, and you hear Credence is like, "Well, that works well for me." He runs and he just goes and gets as much wood as he can. He's like, just running over to the forge and just throwing it in. Okay, fine. So he runs over and he tosses in the fire, tosses in the wood. He's like, "Give it a little while, we'll have the coals we need." I can't believe this. As that begins happening, you actually see like the anvil. It almost has a glow to it, and you start watching around the edges of it. You can see the runes that are carved into the anvil begin to light.
I'm gonna copy those.
Okay.
Take out my books.
As I stand there with keys,
It's like scribbling things down. as
I
fast as we
point
can.
out the things he does wrong. He's
This is beautiful. I can't believe this is doing what it's supposed to be doing.
I can't believe that worked.
Neither can I. I thought you were dead.
So did
I
I.
thought it was dead too.
Kind of.
I think we all thought that.
It's
Oh,
an inevitability.
wait.
It's an inevitability. It's only a matter of when, not if.
Oh well, this is amazing. As one of the final runes begins to light, you hear torches around the entire forge begin shooting up flames,
Oh,
lighting the entire place.
nice gaslight.
You can hear it just like the whole place now kind of feels alive, and it's moving. You can you can get a sense that there's way more to this place.
I complete my map. Or
Inner
detail.
workings and things seem to now be running. And you just see Credence. I can't believe this. Oh, I thank you from the very bottom of my Tejingi heart. This is a wonderful day, and I will make the finest thing that I can possibly make here.
A solemn bow.
And thank you for saving my life, so that I might do so. Get the best rest that you can. I will be at this for at least about a week.
I think we should take shifts with the bellows for you.
I would be very thankful.
You point at me, point at the bellows, and there we go.
You can
Right.
jump up and
No, I think the bellows would be working you.
You can always feed the fire.
Like a few twigs.
Yeah.
I will not help you with this.
So you're gonna do what you've done already.
I got you to the forge.
Arguments to be made.
I understand why. At least I think I do.
I also won't be helping.
And why is that?
Excuse me, princess.
Excuse you, shut up. I've already tread pretty deeply against my kind. I feel assisting you with a weapon that could probably destroy them would be going too far.
Wouldn't that be any weapon created?
They're going to
anywhere?
try to kill you either way. You know that, right?
Yes.
You've already picked your sides by what I can see, and they don't want you alive.
Oh, I have ways to deal with that one.
Well, fair enough.
And the deal was to get you here.
Yeah.
The deal was to get us to all four.
Deal is to get us everywhere.
And that's all I'm doing.
That is fine then. I am too happy to worry about it right now. He turns back and just looks at the grandeur of the place again, just filled with all these stories he's grown up with. You can see him kind of like a child in this forge. He's just so excited. And with how much he's already paid to get just this far, he's like near tears, and you can kind of see that in him for all the heat here.
The tears evaporate.
Yeah.
Might be a good idea to get Shellington out of here now.
Depends on how hot it is.
It's hot enough for me to not want to be here.
True, but
Why don't they
the
need
water's
water?
a bit far away.
Why do they need water in order? Because like when you
To
forge, don't
quench.
you heat it up and then
You
You
quench
can
it in
also do it
oil.
with
You quench in oil.
It's better
Or
to
in
do it
blood.
oil.
It's better to do it in oil because it's quicker, but it can't be done in water.
It's actually better to do in blood. But
Yeah.
that's a really messed up way to quench.
Well,
Yeah.
so the carbon in the oil helps strengthen steel, though, too.
Yeah, it does.
Whereas blood wouldn't.
Blood does not. Yeah.
Blood strengthens iron. Or
It just doesn't light on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the old days, they used to quench it in blood.
Which made rudimentary steel.
Good to know. I didn't know this fact.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We use oil now, which is way better. Way better.
Also,
But-
a lot less gruesome.
Really?
Way better than doing
it's
blood.
not as metal though.
It's not as metal. All right. Anyways, so you see that he's excited. Those who are willing to help. He's
I'm more than happy
Happy
to
to
help.
help and maybe learn a little bit too, as I am trying to become a bit
Okay.
better of a smith.
Mittens.
Keep him healed.
Keep him healed.
I don't know. I can't really do much. I can feed the bones, I guess. I don't know.
How long of a walk was it up from the waterfall down to here?
A few miles.
About like a day's journey.
No, like 5 miles ish. So
So, a few hours.
a few hours.
I'll make.
Long enough that you don't want to do it for fun.
Well, I'm thinking just water trips, just because that's the closest source of water.
Right.
I'm more than happy to help, but I need a little help too.
Yeah.
Because we had talked about reforging that greatsword with the Balrog family.
Yeah, I can do that. That's not too big of a deal. We can fix that.
Alright.
Okay. So guys, you were able to not die tonight. That's really, really, really good. I'm going to call it right here, and we will pick up. Those of you who were with us, despite our technical difficulties, thank you very much for being here.
And our terrible amount of indecision.
We had a lot of discussion tonight. Please feel free to share this. Please share this with all of your friends and family, anyone who would be interested in this. Follow us on Facebook under Forgotten World Adventures, on YouTube under Studio Nathan. We have all of our previous campaigns previous episodes up to this point on there. We do it about a week behind. I'm sure that I'm repeating this to most people, but anyone, if there's someone new there watching, again, thank you so much for keeping keeping us with some people watching, keeping us going kind of that way. We enjoy the interaction and knowing that there's people there. Follow us on our Discord. It's Under Forgotten World.
No, the Discord's under Studio Nathan.
Oh, it's under Studio Nathan. Sorry, yeah.
The stream and of the YouTube videos will have the link.
Right.
You can come chat with us, play games with us, just general get together of the community.
Cool.
Interviews and inspiration.
No worries. Yeah, remember those of you who had inspiration tonight that didn't come from tonight's stream.
We got inspiration tonight. So
Did we get anyone close?
Bjorn with 8.
Ooh, Bjorn's coming close. Anyone who had one, it's gonna go away so that next time around we will start kind of fresh again. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful night, and we will see you again next week. Take care.